The power of radio is in your hands. You can play. You can pause.
Rewind.
You can download. It's Vicalonia Radio. Solely for your listening pleasure. You are listening to your number one online edutainment radio. Hey you, wake up, get dressed, step out, head high, walk in, sit down, legs crossed. Ready? Now, smile and let's talk money. Want to make more money? Want some help with business and brand development tips? Then tune in every Monday at 12 p.m. for The Big Money Talk Show to get all that you need to survive in the corporate business world. Exclusive to Vicalonia Radio, your number one online edutainment radio. The Big Money Talk Show. Let's talk money.
Good afternoon, people. Welcome to Vicalonia Radio and welcome to Big Money Talk Show on Vicalonia Radio, holding every Monday, 12 p.m. on the dot. This is your anchor and outreach GreenBrain. Today, like we've been doing in our first two editions, we've been talking about mostly how the mind helps people make money, how our mental state, our mentality about money can help us make more money. And today we are going to be looking at how the rich think differently than the average person. Yet, and quickly, because of our time, we're going to launch in directly without any wasting of time on happiness. Rich people, they believe that poverty is the root of all evil, while average people think that money is the root of all evil. Average people have been brainwashed by either religion or societal cliche beliefs that most rich people or every rich person is dubious, must be doing something dubious. You know, every rich person in fact, there are some people that any rich person you mention to them, they will tell you the dubious way the person climbed on to become wealthy. You mention Dangote to the person will tell you the shady deals, whatever. He has all the bad history about everyone that has made money. You mention Bill Gates to the person, Mark Zuckerberg to the person, whoever you mention to these people, some average people, they will always have a story about the dubious deeds that brought such person wealth, and such person believes that money is the root of the problem of the world. So, but the rich person believes that poverty is the root of all evil. Let's look at selfishness. The rich person thinks that selfishness is a virtue. Yeah, you heard me right. Yeah, you heard me right. The rich person thinks that selfishness can be seen as a virtue. The rich go out and try to make themselves happy. You know, they do not pretend that they can save the whole world all by themselves, by punishing themselves, by not being a bit selfish, by not taking care of themselves. They spend on themselves, and most importantly, they know that first, for them to keep spending on themselves, they need to devise ways to keep on making money. You understand? But a lot of poor people believe that, wearing jewelry, expensive jewelry, come on, how can I? You see, an average person will tell you, no, I can never spend that amount of money to buy such a thing, to buy a wristwatch of 100,000 naira. How can I ever do that? I can't ever do that. That's an average person's mindset, because they see it as selfishness. Come on, why can't I use that money to do something in the society that is, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we all know that the multi-millionaires and multi-billionaires will still end up giving out much more money than the average person who has relegated him or herself to thinking in an average manner. The rich person dreams about the future. The rich person dreams about the future, and they think about the future and what they can do in the present to get the kind of future they want, while the average person thinks constantly or almost constantly keeps making reference to the good old days. The average person thinks about what? The good old days. Oh, I remember when I used to, when I used to be a big boy, when I used to this and that, that's how the average person thinks. But the rich person will what? They'll have an idea, come up with an idea. They are not so certain about what the future holds, but they are ready to launch their idea into an uncertain future. And what we see most times is that they actually get to make it. So that's it. Work. Rich people follow their passion. They work zealously. They work assiduously towards their passion, what they love. While the average person works work that they don't love, but as long as they can make a living out of it. You see, the average person earns money doing things they don't love. The average person thinks, well, this is life. You gotta settle for something. Sorry about that. So the rich person follows his passion, to think about the passion, while the average person is ready to settle for less and do things they don't love in order to make an earning. Rich people use other people's money, while average people believe you need money to make money. It's a normal thing we hear almost all the time. You need money to make money. Come on, you need money to make money. You have an idea, oh, that idea is so expensive, I need money. I need to work for some years, gather up money before I can get my idea out. You need money to make money. But the rich person thinks about, is this thing, the real question is not about, do I have enough money to invest into this? The real question is, is it relevant? Do I have the relevant skills to push this idea out? And is this idea worth investing in? If it's worth investing in, of course, there is so much money out there in the world to make it happen. Rich people surround themselves with like-minded people, rich people, while average people think rich people are snobs. Rich people can't afford the messages of doom. That's the reason why a lot of poor people consider them as snobs, because a lot of poor people come, and what they come around along with them are just messages of doom and gloom. That's why rich men like to surround themselves with people who are rich. That's why I see they say the rich love the rich, because when you are rich, you won't like to be surrounded by people whose outlook to life is about doom and gloom and gloomy days. So the rich people surround themselves with people that are like-minded and are ready to make more money, while average people think that the rich people are snobs and that no rich person will actually see them as interesting. Rich people focus on earning, while average people focus on saving. Rich people focus on earning, while average people focus on saving and spending. Okay? Saving and spending. That's what the average person will take so much time thinking about how they're going to save their money all through the years, and start thinking about how they can spend as little as they can in order not to go bankrupt. But the rich person will focus on earning more. Even during crisis, their energy is still targeted towards earning more. Rich people expect to make more money, while average people expect to struggle all through their lives. The average person believes that most rich people are lucky, or they must be dubious in one way or the other for them to have made their money. So the average person believes that for most people in the world like them, they should not strive to be wealthy, because wealth is made for few people who are lucky or who are dubious. But the rich people expect to make what? Much more money. They do not settle for less. Rich people would rather be educated than be entertained, while average people would rather be entertained than be educated. Of course, the average person will find it so difficult to bring out 3,000 naira, for instance, or 5,000 naira to buy a book that will improve his or her financial knowledge. But the same average person will find it very easy to use 50,000 naira to buy a television, use another 10,000 naira to buy a dish. I don't want to mention specific brand names, and we find it also easier to use 6,000 naira or 7 to subscribe every month so that they can be entertained. But buy one book, oh God, how can I buy a book of 5,000 naira? What they write that I should buy? What's there? So, you walk into a rich person's house, mostly you start seeing books, not just entertaining books, but educating books, while the opposite is usually the case for the average person. A rich person knows that markets are driven by emotion and greed, while average people think that markets are driven by logic and strategy. This is important for business people. Very, very important. Rich people know that. They know that the psychology of most buyers, they know how to tap into the psychology of the masses, that the masses are driven by emotion and greed, emotion of love, emotion of hate, emotion of fear, things like that, of family, while all people believe that the market is driven by logic. They believe that strategy and logic is what will make their goods or their product or their ideas sell. But the rich person knows that this is not true. So, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, billionaires and millionaires, either right now or in the making, we've come to the very end of today's episode of the Big Money Talk Show. Remember, this is Billionaire Radio. Keep sharing the message. Be part of the growth of this revolution on radio. And do join me next week on the Big Money Talk Show for another exciting and educating edition of the Big Money Talk Show. My name is GreenBrain. Love you and see you at the top. Thank you.